These two devices should not share the same Scarlett name. In this video, we're going to compare the 4th gen Focusrite Scarlett Solo and the 4th generation Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. Now, with the naming convention there of Scarlett Solo and Scarlett 2i2, you expect that there would be differences throughout the product line in terms of inputs and outputs, but you would not expect how many different internal components there are, how the usability is different, the features, the workflow. There's a lot of things that are really different between each one of these lines, and the product name or the product line name doesn't adequately describe all the differences. In this video, we're going to go through all those differences. We're going to go top to bottom through how you use these and the specs of each one of these. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about who each one of these devices are for. Now, first of all, of course, when we're looking at both of these devices, the Scarlett Solo and the Scarlett 2i2, the first thing that you need to look at is the pricing. We're not going to put the pricing in this video because the pricing does go up and down over time. There's holiday specials, there's seasonal specials, and there's blowouts. But if you are looking for current up-to-date pricing for either one of these devices or anything that you see in this video from a variety of online retailers, we have some links down in the description below which will help you find the best price possible if you are shopping online. If we're starting at the very beginning here, we obviously are going to touch on size and weight. I'm going to put those numbers up on the screen now. Obviously, the 2i2 is going to be a bit bigger and a bit heavier because it does have more inputs and outputs. Now, speaking of microphone preamps, both of these have a different number. Of course, the Focusrite Scarlett Solo has one XLR input on the back of this device, and the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 has two XLR inputs on the back of this device. Now, this is quite a bit different than the previous gen. The previous gen used to have the combi jack inputs on the front. Focusrite has separated them so the microphone inputs are on the back and the quarter-inch inputs are on the front of either device. I actually prefer this better. We have another video talking about all this, but for this video, you just need to know that the Solo has one XLR input and the 2i2 has two XLR inputs. Now, one thing that we need to touch on when it comes to these XLR inputs is that in the Focusrite Scarlett line, they have two different preamps. On the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, the XLR microphone preamp only has 57 dB of clean gain for this microphone. The Scarlett 2i2 has a massively upgraded preamp that has 69 dB. So that's a difference of 12 dB between the preamp on the Scarlett Solo and the preamp on the Scarlett 2i2. This means that the Scarlett Solo might not be able to power the Shure SM7B by itself. Depending on your mic positioning and how loud you speak, you might be in the category of those people that have to turn their preamp all the way up to 10. And as you know, if you turn the preamp up past 9 out of 10, you do get more hiss and noise in your recording. Now, that has been solved on the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. The massively upgraded preamps can handle the Shure SM7B with no sweat. You don't need a cloud lifter, you don't need a dynamite or inline preamp or anything like that. A true 4th gen device can handle it itself. This was really surprising when I was doing the testing that the Focusrite Scarlett Solo did not have the same microphone preamp or the same power in it that the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 does. Now, when we move to the front of the device, we'll find a similar story with the inputs there. The Focusrite Scarlett Solo has a quarter-inch input on the front of the device. That's on channel 1. So that input can be used as a line level input, or it can be used as a quarter-inch instrument level input. Again, just like the previous device, you can select the instrument button there to convert that quarter-inch input to whatever you're needing to do. On the front of the Scarlett 2i2, there's two different quarter-inch inputs, and both of them could either be instrument or line level. You can choose to mix and match if you want as well, using the select button on the front of the interface and then selecting instrument level or line level, depending on what you need. Now, in terms of gain here, on the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, it's 57 dB of gain, whether you're using instrument or line level inputs. That's a ton of gain for instrument level if you're using a guitar pickup, or line level input if you have electric piano or line level source. That is more than enough. But on the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, there's 69 dB of gain for both of those options. Again, I think this is totally overkill. You're not going to run out of gain for your quarter-inch inputs. Most of my criticism on this is on the XLR inputs on the back and the difference there. Now, another really big difference that was quite surprising between either one of these units comes down to the knobs that you use to operate the interface with. On the front of the Scarlett 2i2, we have these traditional 0 to 10 knobs that are a fixed position. They're not infinite knobs by any means. On the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, there's a completely different thing going on here. They have infinite knobs here that let you just turn and turn and turn, and this happens for a couple different reasons. One, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 has auto gain mode. So you can select your channel and then you can hit auto and it will automatically set the gain for that channel. This is a really big improvement, and a lot of people I think would benefit from this. I know when I've been using this, it's just faster to talk on the mic, hit the auto button, and it sets it for you automatically so it peaks at -12. This is actually really convenient. It's surprising that they don't put that technology into the next generation, the fourth generation of Focusrite Scarlett Solo. That feature is completely stripped out, so you do get the older rotary knobs with the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Because there's no point having an infinite knob if you don't have the computer automatically setting the gain for you. Now, not only does the Focusrite Scarlett Solo not have auto gain, but it also doesn't have Clipsafe. Clipsafe is a new feature introduced in the 4th Gen 2i2 that will protect your recording and make it so you don't clip or peak or anything like that. It will adjust the gain and protect your recording. Again, it is surprising that a product with the same name does not have all the features of the other one. Now, as we look towards the outputs of these devices, there are a lot more similarities than we have with the inputs and the processing of either channel. Now, both of these devices do allow you to direct monitor with zero latency recording. They operate a little bit different. With the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, there's a direct monitoring button here where you can turn on or off direct monitoring. On the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, there is a direct monitoring button again, but it does have three different modes. It has off, it has stereo, and it has mono. So on the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, you hear both inputs through both ears if you turn on direct monitoring. On the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, you can have direct monitoring turned off, or if it's in stereo mode, you'll hear one of your inputs in the left ear and one of your inputs in the right ear. This can be handy if you are trying to isolate or if you're, stereo miking a grand piano or something like that and you want to monitor the stereo recording that you're doing. That can be helpful, but also you can switch it to mono mode so you get both inputs in both ears if that's what you want as well. Now, in terms of the outputs on both of these devices, they are identical. They both have one headphone jack on the front. That headphone jack on both devices has a dynamic range of 115 dB and an output of 10 dBu. This is a big upgrade from the previous gen and gives you more dynamic range and more volume in your headphones if you want. On the back of these devices, they both have left and right stereo balanced quarter-inch outputs that you can convert to XLR if you want for your studio monitors, and they both have a dynamic range of 120 dB, and they both have an output of 16 dBu. So again, these specs are bumped up a little bit over the previous gen, but in terms of the output on both of these devices, they are identical. Now, in terms of the analog to digital converter in both of these Scarlett units, they are identical. They both have 24-bit, and you can scale both of them to 192 kilohertz if you want. So your analog to digital conversion is the same with either unit. Now, with the connectivity on the back of them to your computer, the physical connectivity, this is where it starts to get a bit different again. They are both bus powered and they're both USB-C, so you can connect both of them to your computer no problem. But with the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, there is a separate external power supply that's USB-C on the back. So you can connect the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 to a battery bank if you're wanting to connect this to your mobile phone. This again is a really kind of big difference between either one of these because the Focusrite Scarlett Solo needs a bunch of workarounds in order to connect it to your phone without drawing the battery down, or on some iPhones, it doesn't even connect at all because the phone knows it can't power the device. But in this very same line, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 has this problem solved. You can connect a battery bank to the 2i2 itself, and then use the USB-C output just to connect to your computer for signal and recording on your mobile device like your iPad or your phone. So they are a little bit different there in features as well. So next, let's talk about my overall thoughts, and then I'll talk about who each one of these are for with some recommendations on who should be buying which. My overall thoughts is that this lineup is kind of confused. I feel like the Focusrite Scarlett Solo is definitely the budget item, and they had a lot of really nice things that they wanted to put into the 2i2, but it is a little bit confusing as to why the Scarlett Solo isn't in a totally different product line. It has a different preamp. It doesn't have the auto gain. It doesn't have Clipsafe. It doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles that the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 has. So I think those differences are big enough that it shouldn't even be considered a Scarlett if the Scarlett 2i2 has all of that stuff. That being said, it is still a nice little compact, affordable audio interface. Now, in terms of who each one of these devices is for, the Scarlett Solo was always for the solo musician as a microphone input and an instrument input. So you can be a solo musician. It's still two channels. The channels are just separated and it's a little bit less flexible. If that's you and you're on an entry level, the Scarlett Solo is still great. You can still use it for that. But overall, I think Focusrite put a lot of their bait into the 2i2 to convert most people from considering the Solo to just bumping up and getting the 2i2. You still have two inputs on it, but they can be XLR, quarter inch, or instrument, or whatever you want it to be. So it is a lot more flexible. Then you get auto gain, you get Clipsafe, you get all these kind of nice features that just make this unit easier to work with. And I think Focusrite is just trying to convince most solo people to get the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. And to be honest, for the extra money, you do get a ton of features and a ton of value with the Scarlett 2i2. So my takeaway from doing this analysis and this comparison is unless you're really on a budget and you can only afford the Solo, just get the 2i2. The 2i2 is so much better in so many ways. It's not just about channel count or microphone inputs. It's about overall features and usability of the device. If you are looking for pricing or specs again, please do check out the links down in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And again, if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.